many of you may not know this about me, but I love doing fancy fonts. I think doing fonts with a little bit of jazz to them adds a little personality, and it really makes your art interesting, especially when you're using words. So today I'm going to show you 2 different ways you can make your art and your fonts very fancy. It might come handy in the future. So I just have a piece of paper, really simple, and I like to use markers just so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but pencil works great as well, okay? So the first font I'm going to show you is in red, and I'm going to just show you using the word fancy. And so I'm just going to write the letter F, A, N, C, Y. I wrote it just as I normally would, okay? Now the first one is when we add dots. Maybe you know this already, but really cool when you add a little dot. You just circle your marker around or your pencil. Everywhere there's an end to the letter, okay? You can already see how it's changing the appearance of the word and making it more interesting. It's your choice if you want to do it at these different points of connection of the word, but for sure the golden rule is add a dot to every ending point of your word or when you pick up your pencil to write at the end. Okay? We're gonna do our number 2 fancy font, and this is just with basic lines, or you could even call it a dash. Okay, so again, I'm gonna write the word fancy, writing it as I normally would. Sometimes when you do these fancy fonts, you want to add a little extra spacing in between so that way you can have enough space to do the fancy, dots, or in this case, the dash. And when I do the dash, instead of going around, I'm just going to draw a line that is perpendicular or the opposite direction of the word. So again, I'll repeat that. It's almost like we're making little T's, okay? So every time there's the end of a letter, I'm adding a dash. Now you'll notice my dash is not super long, and it's not small like a dot. It's just enough where it covers a little bit of each side of the letter. Again, I'm not gonna go this way, I'm gonna go across the opposite way. Same with the Y, and I'm gonna make sure it's perfectly straight too. Very fancy. All right, so those are 2 fonts that, you could practice writing your own name. I'll do my name. We're gonna put this aside, and I'll do my name so you can see it. I'll do it in pink. How does that sound? All right, straighten out our paper. I like to make sure my paper's nice and straight when I'm writing my name. When you write your name, maybe your name is a little more curvy. It's not, maybe you don't do your M straight. It still works. Now, I'm gonna do the dots for the first one, and then I'll do the dashes for the second one. So I'm not gonna dot my I because I wanna see how my design will work. And for my U, I'm gonna do like a little curly Q. And I'm not gonna put my dot yet. So I'm gonna do my dots first for this example. Again, just doing little circles at each point. I could do a point there if I want, but I want the dots to be really at some of the main points. Now let's talk about this I. What to do with the I? Well, since we normally dot our I's anyway, it matches the font. It looks like it's all in unison, that it all goes together. So I'm gonna keep the dot. We'll talk about what to do with the dot when we do the dash. Especially if you have an I in your name, or like me, where you have a period after your initial. Okay, now let's go back to the dash, and I'm gonna change it up and go to blue this time, and I'll do my name, that fancy curvy M. Again, my M is curved, it's not straight, which would change where I probably add points. I'm not gonna dot my I because I'm gonna show you how, you can add style with the dash when we dot our I's. Miss, And then a big U, and I'm gonna add a little curlicue at the end. Again, I'm not gonna dot because I'm gonna add the dash style. And when we do the dash, remember it's kind of like opposite directions. So if I'm going this way, I'm gonna do the dash this way. Dash is not being too big. Now when I do my eye, I'm gonna go straight across. Do you see how it matches the style? Rather if I would have just done the eye as a dot. My S's, I always love doing an S's dash because it adds a lot of awesome directions to the design. Same with, there we go. Same with my little dash. I'm just gonna add a little dash instead of a place of a dot. It keeps the style really consistent and it looks all the same and it makes the font very fun, very fancy. All right, that is how you do 2 fancy fonts with Miss U.